jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back
Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, rather. WCS back on the boulevard. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Big shout out to the supporters. You know what I'm saying? Much appreciated. One love to y'all that rock with the channel. As always, it's another day. It's midweek. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Midweek. We halfway there through the weekend, shawty. You already know what it is, man. First in the building, I be who I be on deck. What's good with it, IB? Salute to you, OG Scotty. What up, player? What's good with it, IB? Can't complain, can't call it. You know what I'm saying? Big blunts and boxing on deck. Yo, salute, OG. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Big shout out to the $5 afternoon super chat from Jamal Neezy in the building. He said, just showing support, keep growing and applying pressure. Salute. No doubt, no doubt. Thank you. One love to you, brother, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciate everyone who supports the channel and donate to the channel. No doubt about it. Jamal Neezy on deck. So, as we already know, right? It comes a point in time where, you know, this boxing game, it gets a little crazy at times. You know how we talk about how boxing has all these twists and turns and, you know, backstories and all this that's going on in the gym. Some people get highlighted more for their sparring than their actual performances in the ring, and some of them, doesn't really complement their sparring and their training. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be like that. It depends on where you at, who you got behind you, how much money and all that. But Romero, unfortunate for him, he was in a situation again. Okay, like a lot of fighters, you find fighters that exist in boxing, right? And they have records that are inflated up to the point where it's just good enough for them to, you know, have a mouthpiece and able to talk their way into certain situations. Some of these fighters that have that braggadocious reality in sparring, sometimes it does them more harm than good. The reason being is you can get punished in sparring. Like a lot of things happen in sparring with no referee that, you know, you're not going to get in a sanctioned bout in front of under the bright lights. You're just not going to get it. You know, you're going to have a referee to break. You know, it's less dirty tactics and everything else. And sometimes, you know, fighters go longer than 3 minutes per round. But for Romero, you know what it is. He's set and embedded on pretty much trying to prove that he's one of the strongest, toughest boxing. The bad thing about his misunderstanding and misfortune would be his psychological incompetence. Rolly is incompetent in a lot of ways when it comes to his his mentality, because he look at certain things that the average person will look at and say, you know what, there's no need for me to do that shit no more. I'm not gonna get nothing from it. I remember what it was for me the first time I went up there. It's just too much. I'm not gonna deal with it. But Rolly is saying, man, fuck that, man. I'm going back in there. Rolly, man, you damn near died the last time you was in. Man, I know I can do it. I know I can do it, man. I got it, man. I know I can. Rolly's that dude. I just want y'all to take a video. It's a lot of history in this video, because this guy that KO'd Rolly was a 3-0 guy. I know him. I covered him when he was amateur. We had some words. You feel me? I covered him back in the day. I know exactly who this guy is, and it's good to see him to where he at, get some exposure for basically putting hands on Rolly. It's good. I'm not mad at the brother. You know, when you go to these fights, these regional fights, you see a lot of people, and as the years go by, you know, you see them either grow. You say, damn, so-and-so professional. Okay, all right, that's what's up. You know, they finally turn professional. You see them grow and continue to be successful. Jahan is getting mad. I'm talking about his Twitter. Look, his Twitter, IG, his social media probably blowing up right now. Take a look at this video, bro. You know what? Maybe somebody should mail Rolly some traffic signs. You know what I'm saying? To just place him on ringside when he's in there sparring. And, you know, whenever you want him to stop engaging without having his hands up and be defensively sounded, you just put the stop sign up. You just put a big ass red stop sign up there, hold it up over the top rope. Say, hey, you know, you better chill. But Jahan, the guy who KO'd Romero, was only a 3-0 fighter. He used to roll around with this other fighter, you know, fighting over there in North Carolina. It's good to see him finally getting some identity about himself. And man, you know, this dude is getting mad exposure for what he did to Rolly, and it was a clean knockdown. Like, he was knocked out. You can see Rolly on his back. He was knocked out. It wasn't no knockdown. It was knocked out. And this is not good for Rolly when it comes down to it at the end of the day, because he's looking to get bigger fights. But if your mentality is to be a junkyard dog, you know, your body's going to break down like a junkyard dog. I grew up around junkyard dogs, man. I grew up back then. These places that had these pit bulls, these Dobermans chained up all the fucking time. And all they did was give him water and food. And the mugger bark his ass up. Row, row, row. You know, when somebody come around. But let the wrong dog get up in that mug. You know what I'm saying? Let the wrong one get up in there. That dog has pretty much been barking, and ain't in shape. It ain't did nothing. Just say, hey, I'm here. It ain't in shape or anything. It's on a short leash the whole time. Another dog go in there and fuck that dog up. Rolly Romero has been dead set on doghouse rules. You can tell he's been taking punishment. Him going in there trying to prove he's the strongest fighter doesn't do him any good, because this guy is going in there taking punishment, and now he's on the canvas for a 3-0 fighter. That is embarrassment, bro. That shit that you just watched, that is pure embarrassment. That is embarrassment, man. And then, look, you see what gym they was in. So I'm asking myself, they was allowed the film. I guess they really don't give a fuck about Rolly. You know, somebody was able to record. Did they agree on that? I'm looking at it, Rolly. I want to ask you this question. How does this benefit your career going forward? You're calling out Errol Spence and you're calling out all these other guys at 147. You want to call out everybody. But yet you have a 3-0 guy that hasn't stepped in there with nowhere close to competition that you've had. And this guy sat you on your ass. This guy sat you on your ass with the same left hand. It wasn't identical, but it was a left hand shot that sat you down. Somebody's not teaching you. Somebody's not trying to help you learn. Somebody is happy with seeing you continue to decline, bro. You only got one fucking body, Rolly. You got one chin. You got one neck, homie. You got one brain. I ain't never seen no human being get a brain transplant, nor have I looked on Amazon and say, you know what, I want to order a new chin. Hey, I got a care package coming for you, Rolly. I went through a lot of chins on on Amazon, right? I went through a lot of chins. I got you the one that wasn't too expensive, but it has good reviews, okay? And you sitting that chin to Rolly. It's not happening right now, people. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be overly facetious about it, but this is stupidity on a lot of people's part. Rolly got knocked out by a 3-0 guy. They never gonna let that shit live, man. I mean, die. Never gonna let it die. It's gonna continue to be the talk of conversation. Why would you put yourself in that situation, man? Make sure everybody got their phone. I'm pretty sure Rolly, it was some shit talking, because I know Jahan. You know, I know Jahan. He talk a lot of shit. You know, he done came up a little bit. He talk a lot of shit. So I know there's a lot of trash talking. And he get in there and Rolly want to punish the dude. That's his MO. Rolly likes to go in there and try to punish people. The only reason he didn't go in there and punish Tank like that, because for one, he had respect of Tank's punching power, and he knew he just didn't want to go in there and blow it. Even though he was talking about that first round bullshit, he really wasn't committed on answering the bell and going in there and trying to knock Tank out in one round. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't have that shit. Let me see what the chat got to say. But once again, shout out to Neezy for that $5 super chat in the building. Can't call it. Salute to you. Blunt say, someone who attended that sparring said the dude who did Rolly, that guy did bad, Rolly. They got did bad by a 16-year-old the same day. The lower level fighters must have been going at it that day. Yeah, Jahan is, you know, when I knew him, he was young, man. He was young. He was young. Real talk. I don't know what he is, but me and him had some words back in the day, you know, about something. You know, he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not on the low end of trash talking. Why people don't spar to learn instead of going all out. That's Romero's, that's Rolly's mentality, Jamal. His mentality is just that. Like, you know, Rolly will show up to school every day, but he seems like he's a physical learner. Rolly is like, he's all about the physical aspect of learning. Remediate. If you gave him a picture and say, look at this is how I want you to throw the punches, you know, and go through this motion right here. I want you to throw this punch first, that punch second, this punch third. You know, Rolly is be like, man, you know, that don't interest me. And I need to go out here and get physical. You got to understand, Rolly is a black belt in Judoka. He's a physical specimen, so to speak. Rolly is one of those physical specimens. Rolly has what would be considered a little bit of retard strength to him. He's not a 100% normal individual. So when you get these individuals that don't totally understand the cognizant value of right from wrong, and they was born different, they'll go into tough situations over and over again. And when they get fucked up, like you saw in the video, they don't treat it like we would. Like we would process that shit. Really, we would sit up here and process it a little bit longer and say, damn, I really need to improve something before I go back over there and try to get it in again. Rolly is like, yeah, you got me. Okay, what about now? Let's go. Let's go. What about now? Let's go. He'll keep on doing. You know, he keep coming towards some motherfucking tyranny. Keep going towards tyranny and going towards tyranny until he damn near breathing. Not breathing, bro. You know, it's a good question. Why don't they spar to learn? That's what sparring's supposed to be about. Who is sitting up here teaching him and getting him groomed, Rolly Romero, getting him groomed to be this guy who's just a B-side opponent? Like, this guy was just bragging about how much of a fast-track boxer he was and how quick he's been able to do it. And now he's going in there, and look, he gets knocked out in the 6th round. He gets out that, recovers, and he's taking pictures of everybody. And he's like, I got more fame and glory of being knocked out by Tank. Yeah, he's happy about that shit. Anyway, shout out to Get the Smoke. Salute. On deck. Blunt say, I know he did that to Rolly, but I want to see what the 16-year-old did to him that day before I say anything. Rolly looked like the type of guy who just don't be caring. All right, let me give you some scoop on Jahan, right? First of all, I'm much older. I have to put that disclaimer out there, right? I'm much older, right? So I look at him as a cat that's still in the maturing stages in life and in boxing. All right, I don't want to dog this young cat out. I don't. I've been around him and his people already. You know what I'm saying? He got some growing up to do. And truth be told, you know, Jahan, he ain't that good of a fighter yet. He ain't that good of a fighter. But his priorities was all wrong back in the day. You know, he wasn't putting full time into the sport to where he's supposed to. I'm not saying that's the case right now. I'm just saying when I seen him and I was around him, and you know, certain words we exchanged over a situation, you know, if the 16-year-old was dusting them off, then I can believe it, but it's sparring at the end of the day. It's sparring at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I had plenty of times where I would go to a different country and I'd be so I would be full of anxiety because I wanted to drop into some of their schools and try to learn something else. And, you know, I was really taught a lesson. Like, I was seriously taught a lesson. It wasn't that I was being cocky, but the lessons I was taught in sparring is that, yeah, it is sparring, but sometimes you can go into to sparring with a fighter who gets the best of you, and they're not even really that good. I'm talking about on the level of considered the best, but they know so much, but they're not even the best. So you got to learn, like, okay, what am I learning? What am I taking from this sparring? What am I remediating that I need to improve in? These guys right here, Rolly and Jahan, I just want to know, what was their purpose in this sparring? Was they just in there to fight one another? Were they in there to work on some things? You know what I'm saying? Did somebody make a phone call and say, hey, you want to get some work? Okay, I get some work. What was Rolly thinking about, bro? This irritates me a little bit because Rolly already is talking out the side of his face like Dillian White. I really don't want this young cat to continue to grow up and he's off in a bad way with pugilistica, dementia. Because to me, I believe that he's been in a lot of wars that he don't want to talk about. He just felt like he was the strongest man in the doghouse wars, and that shit is wearing down, and he's still a young dude. You cannot sit up here and tell me if a 16-year-old was fucking up Jahan and Jahan fucked up Rolly, something's wrong with that dynamic. He said, stop playing with me. Be humble, Rolly. Learn to improve when you're training, young fella. Hey, man, I saw Bullet right there. I saw Bullet right over there to the right. Bullet was like, he high-fived the, whoever that was. I'm like, hey, Smoke said Rolly won the battle of wits against Tank. Yeah, he did. It's according to what wits you're talking about, because Rolly was one of the worst trash talkers I've ever seen behind a mic. He one of the worst, man. Somebody just set him up with a nice little fake ass Goodwill chinchilla, and he looked goofy as fuck out there. Al Money on deck. What's good? Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Blunt said, I guess a guy named Kermel put hands on Jahan that same day, but Rolly definitely got to stop doing dumb shit like that. Listen, if this dude that you're talking about put hands on Jahan, look, I wouldn't. I wouldn't doubt it, bro. Like I said before, I'm not trying to speak ill on Jahan, but I just know he's a pretty boy. That's all. That's all. Jahan's is a pretty boy. Until he goes in here and start making a name for himself, he might grow into boxing and be something special, bro. I don't know. But you saw the interview, the post interview. Does it look like he had a scratch on his face? Does it look like whoever that guy you talking about gave him the business? Where did they give him the business? I mean, come on. Like, dude looked like, was that before or after sparring? That had to be before sparring. Dude looked like he didn't have a scratch on his face. And if some guy put hands on him and they going 4-minute rounds, shit. I mean, what ounce gloves they was using? 25? They was using 25-ounce Chuck E. Cheese gloves. Shout out to the XO Factory in the building. You already know, bro. What's good, OG? I heard Rolly was gonna be the new mattress tester for Silly Posturpedic. Listen, I feel some type of way about Rolly, real talk, because he's gonna end up in a bad way, man. It's almost like he's becoming that boxing crash dummy. Like, why would you put yourself in that position to get knocked out pretty much from a guy who got worked himself? If somebody smoked Jahan already, and Jahan was like, okay, let me go ahead and get Rolly, and he knocked you out in an almost damn near similar combination that you was knocked out with Gervonta Davis, you're not smart. You're not smart, Rolly. Ain't no on deck, I see you. Rolly needs a new coach. See, shit like that, man, they take advantage of Rolly's, weakness, man. His competence, man. It's almost like when you expect Rolly to identify situations like this as serious, he still remains in the incubation period. It seems like Rolly is still in the early stages of learning in certain situations. I don't want to dog Rolly because Rolly did something, cool for me. And that's I always have reserved for Rolly. Like, I got kids older than him, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I know it don't have nothing to do with that, but I'm just saying I don't want to dog this man out so much to the point where I'm basically calling him retarded, mentally retarded or whatever. Even though certain people have said that, I'm just saying, man, you're making yourself look crazy out here in these boxing rings. You know what I'm saying? You're making yourself look crazy. A 3-0 fighter that's now getting mad shine, bro. Like, he's on camera knocking your ass clean the fuck out. You can't say it wasn't me. Martin King Boxing on deck. Salute to you, brother. Blair Cobbs said, "Don't underestimate the power of stupidity when it comes to Rolly." Hey, man. Only the ones I have a vengeance with I call stupid. But Rolly does have some stupidity in him. I don't know which vein it's coming from. I really don't know. I don't know if it's something that his body naturally produces. But Rolly has that tendency to do stupid shit, especially in the boxing ring, bro. Especially in the boxing ring. But I have to give it to him like I did the other night. Dude got up. Dude got up, bro. I'm talking about a real fight from a real hitter. Mr. El Chin Checker himself, a real hitter. Mankind says this dude got up. Shout out to the boxer's mind. Salute to you. He said, W says, could this be a hit piece from TMT to discipline Rolly? The Mayweather channel and Fight Hype, aka Floyd Hype, was one of the first to post that sparring on YouTube. Look, I wouldn't put anything past boxing because every time you turn around, man, it's some slimy, grimy type shit going on with the sport. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who would put a hit out on who, bro. Why would they be trying to discipline Rolly? Like, it's almost like, come on now. What did Rolly do wrong? Just think about that. Boxer's mind. Just think about it. This man was pulled from a fight with Tank. And he was somehow accused of all these accusations. He had to go through the media, the barrage of damn backlash because of that shit. All of a sudden, give or take several weeks after that, these names, these assault victims, they all absolve. They evaporate. No one heard anything about it. No court case, no nothing. Rolly's up here talking about I was planning on buying my mom a house and all that. Okay. Then he turns back around and gets the next fight. He's the next in line. He goes up there and say he's going to do this, that, and the other. Why would they be punishing him? He went in there and fought a pretty decent fight. It's a lot of people saying he was winning the first half of the fight before he was stopped. It's a lot of people that was giving him credit for fighting a smart fight until he was starched. So what it must be something internal if he's being punished for something. You feel me? Sir Foul player in the building. Brooklyn Jack, salute to you, brother. I hate leaking sparring footage. Too many variables for both fighters sparring to put that out in public. That's when you have fighters that's not really respected like that. So, people are able to record footage, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It's some people that's so confident in their fighter. Like I say this all the time. Like, yeah, we didn't get the Tank Davis and Brian Norman Jr. sparring, but Jahai Tucker and Brian Norman Jr., they footage was recorded. Both of their fathers did not care about the camera rolling. That's them having confidence in their fighter, which happened to be their sons. They didn't have no hesitation in saying, I don't care if you do. Like, this is the first time they sparred. They said, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You want to record? You can record. Both of them didn't give a damn. I'm serious. Everybody don't think the same. I don't know if Rolly's father was there. Some of these fathers don't train their kids like that, so they're not in the area to make sure they're making very sound decisions. But this right here is a bad look for Rolly, goddamn. This is a bad look. You're talking about getting a bigger fight? You getting knocked out in sparring, bro. Bullet need to take his dumb ass on. I don't know, bro. Like, I'll tell you like this, Blunts. I had a decent conversation with Bullet. We was basically eating lunch right. They was right beside me, him and two other coaches, chopping it up. And like I said before, man, you get with these fighters, these coaches who, their backstory. And then when you see something like this, you like, The coach was on the ringside too, high-fiving somebody else. So I don't know what grade of stupidity are we looking at here. Do we fucking blame the coach? Do we blame the fighter? Who set up the sparring? There's no way in hell if Jahan had got worked over by another teenager, right? How can this be a setup for Rolly? Like, Rolly stepping in there with a guy that has way less experience than he does. It's not supposed to be a highlight reel clip with Rolly being on the bad end of it. This is supposed to be a moment where Rolly is fucking shining, dog. This is supposed to be the clip where you go in there and dust off Jahan and send him about his fucking way. Scout's honor. Scout's motherfucking honor. Floyd turned into a formidable matchmaker. I follow Floyd trials and tribulations with losing at matching these fighters with real competitors. I can't say nothing about that, Martin King. Like, I feel where you're going with it. When it comes to Floyd Mayweather, all I can say is that man is all about making himself a dollar bill. That's it. That's all I can say about that, bro. His contribution to boxing, I will only wish it was much more, it would have much more an effect on various fighters. Like I wish his presence in boxing, he was able to stamp his name in a much more effective way that helps out boxing. But he ain't. It's just all about Floyd Mayweather. I don't see how he's contributing to the sport. You know, he would go on a rant and talk about how many damn belts, and there's too many belts in boxing. But every time you turn around, he's doing an exhibition bout for money, and he's not really giving a damn if his belts that's saturating the sport. He don't care. Feliciano, what's good? Salute to you, brother. Rolly got dropped down. Yeah, Rolly got dropped, man. It's a bad look. It's a serious bad look for him, man. I mean, this clip that's out there, it's gonna fuck him over for a while. This ain't going away. Like, just because a lot of people not talking about it on the YTC, it's gonna make his rounds. And when he bring his ass back on here for a fucking interview, that clip is always gonna come up. It's always gonna come up. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That shit is always gonna come up, bro. And Rolly's gonna have to deal with it one way or the other. It's stupid. Why would you place yourself in that type of situation? That shit is gonna be on the clock forever and a day, bro. Like, now, when it comes, he's gonna have this sparring nexus attached to his name. They're gonna always attach him, you know, being this so-called tough guy. You know what I'm saying? This guy who's willing to go in there and bang it out and go to battle. But yet, you're supposed to be building yourself up for possibly another big name fight, and you being dropped in sparring. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Real talk. It's very, very stupid. I ain't gonna lie to you. And also, I personally like the guy. He's pretty entertaining, but I like to see him improve and make better decisions. It is what it is with Rolly. You know, boxing is one of the most dirtiest, boxing is one of the most dirtiest situations that you can volunteer to make yourself a part of that will cause you the most damage ever in life. That's boxing. That's boxing. This is one of the worst situations that a person can volunteer for that can cause you long-term damage, and you will have pretty much no way to fix it. No way to fix it, bro. That's boxing. It takes a different type of individual to be a part of boxing. This sport, it's fun that we go back and forth about certain fighters, but at the end of the day, these fighters that make it up out of the sport, and they're either give their final speech and give their grand salute, their final salute before they go into retirement. We don't really know how much they done made. It's going to come upon a time that Rolly Romero is going to be in that position. Let's not get it twisted. Rolly Romero if he continues to go down this road, he probably only have about 6 years left. He probably only have about good 6 years left before he just become an all-out B-side opponent, a punching bag, a guy that's going in there for a check. What else is he gonna do? Construction? What is he gonna do? He's gonna become a trainer in the gym? He's gonna become a mitt holder? I mean, come on, nobody's really putting Rolly out there as being this genius. You know, because geniuses are considered to be a little bit retarded. You know, the savants that's out there, right? They're very much a genius in a specific area. And they're a genius in that area. But if you want to go to other areas of education and learning abilities, they're dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just don't hear people throwing Rolly's name out there like, yeah, this guy's very smart. This guy's smarter than you think. Only thing I can say is just like they said up there. I like the guy. You know, N.O. said he liked the guy. Like I said, I ran into Rolly. Cool. You know, it was cool. But, you know, once I made that comment, I don't know. When I was in Texas, I tried to go up to him, and of course, you know, interviews the shit and this, that, and the other. Hey, when they say that, cool. I'm not gonna go in depth. You know, these fighters, 1 minute they like you, and the other minute they dislike you over some shit somebody else done told them, or a personal experience, a one-on-one experience that they had with you. This shit never fucking stops, bro. I be saying until the knockout, Rolly was holding his own. He just bit the cheese. His own, just a bit of the cheese until the knockout. You talking about in sparring? I mean, it seems like he was trying to dig to the body, and you are understand. Don't have to defend. 8-time world champion to figure this out. If you have a fight up against the ropes, and your plan is to land combinations, you still have to be defensively accountable, right? And also you have to understand that your opponent knows that they're up against the ropes and there's nowhere that they can go that's back. So you have side to side lateral movement. When it comes down to this thought process, a fighter is going to fight or flight. Either they're going to stand there and get themselves out of that position against the ropes, or they're going to move to the left or the right. Or they're going to try to bring you closer and turn you and put you up against the ropes and try to work their offense. Rolly should have known that shit. Rolly should have known that there would be punches in return, man. And he goes up there and get caught on the motherfucking chin. Stupid. Shout out to the outlaw pugilist on deck, man. Salute to you, brothers. Pop a lot. Smoke James on deck in the building. Salute to the chat and WCS. Salute to you, brother. Martin King said, yeah, that's all I meant about Floyd's matchmaking. He tried with Badu Jack with world competitors and failed, but got better at his bottom dollar with his fighters. People should understand why a lot of so-called elite or above average, destined to be stars, didn't sign with Floyd Mayweather. There's a lot of fighters that did not sign with him. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the greats of this era, and he should have a stable of fighters over there, but that's not the case. He doesn't have a stable of fighters. He doesn't, because of it's expensive to be signed with Floyd. You know, expensive in a way that, you know, every time you go in there and compete, you got to understand that Floyd is going to get that money. He's going to get that money. So it's up to you on whether you want to stand strong or you choose to depart, go elsewhere. I mean, the man is out here fighting when he should be just chilling, you know what I'm saying? Being a part of boxing, you know, promoting events. Rolly got dropped with the same punch Tank hit him with. Yeah, it was similar punch that Tank hit him with. You know, he was actually gaining entry. He was actually closing distance on Tank at that time, and he kind of walked into Tank shit, man, Jahan pretty much caught this dude when he was postured, like he was throwing combinations and had no defensive accountability, and he got caught with the left hand. But I can see where people are mirroring it up to the same punch that Tank caught him with. You know, if you look at Tank, you know, he ran into that shit. This right here, this was a straight, clean shot off the ropes by Jahan. And the fucked up part about it is that he was able to allow the bravado that Jahan may not have had to just go through the roof, because he believes now that the next month or two, he's going to be doing all these interviews, dropping the fighter that's already been knocked out. He's already been stopped. But for somebody like Jahan, he doesn't really have a fan base like that, this huge fan base. His name is not bigger than Rolly Romero. So he's gonna run to the hills with this shit, bro. It's gonna be bad, bro. It's already bad. I'm looking around. It's already bad. Jahan, I know Jahan. Jahan's gonna soak this shit up as much as he possibly can, man. LAB, Lost Art of Boxing on deck, man. What's good, my guy? What's good? What's good with you there, Q? How you been, bro? No, I was talking about Rolly getting set up by Tank. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking about, you know, him being comfortable, and Tank wasn't even playing with his food on that fight. Tank was just basically, like he said, he felt that Rolly had power, which he does. Rolly is a strong motherfucker, right? He had power enough to the point where Tank is even fighting smarter. You know what I'm saying? Tank said, "Nah, I ain't dealing with you right now. I'm not going, you know, mano a mano just yet. But I'll come back to you. I'm going to come back to you." That's what he did in the 6th round. So, very, very smart fighter. It's just, if we're talking about ring IQ, there's levels apart when it comes to Rolly. Anybody that goes in there that can get past the physical, you know, the physical aspect of Rolly, beat him. We seen Jackson Mariñez outbox him. You know what I'm saying? And Rolly just loaded up on power punches forever and a day. Shit never stops, bro. Boxing was awesome Saturday. Absolutely, man. What a war. What a historic night. I'm not gonna lie. It was a historic night. Like I said before, it just takes me back to TJ. Seeing them women fight the way they did. It was just incredible. Alicia Baumgartner digging down, bringing out that dog. She can fight, man. I'm happy for her and her team, Tony Harris and them. I'm happy for them, man. I don't know if she's ever going to get any Katie Taylor or anything. She does need to work on her cardio a bit, but we'll see what's popping, man. For Amanda Serrano, you know, that's another time, another day. It's not even her type. It's not even her live. We gotta stay on Rolly, bro. You know, Rolly's on some other, not y'all per se. I'm just speaking in general. Rolly Romero, he should have never put himself in that position if he planned on trying to get another big fight, bro. It's just bad. Where's his mentors at? Seriously, where's his mentors? Like, Rolly remind me of an individual that you consider a gadabout. A gadabout is a pleasure seeker. Rolly seems like he's a pleasure seeker, for real. The shit can be life-threatening, but Rolly want to prove to the people that I'm here, you know, for the challenge. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you, you may lose your life. I don't care about none of that. I'm here for the challenge. I'm gonna do what I got. He seems like that dude, bro. Marlon say exactly. It makes no sense how Floyd Direction has turned out TMT. It's like saying you want to wear brand clothes, not boxing promotion. Hey, we already know by now that Marlon King. I can't go against the grain on what you just said, bro. We know Floyd is absolutely about himself, and I don't know how long Rolly's contract. Rolly probably signed a 15-year. He probably signed a permanent contract. I own you all through your boxing career, and then whatever you make outside of boxing, you know what I'm saying? When I'm 80 years old, I'm still going to be, if you choose to go to Walmart and work, I get a percentage of your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? You go to Costco and be a stock employee, I'm still get a part of your paycheck. You go to the car wash, yeah, that's me. I'm get 20% of your paycheck. Garnished, automatic. We don't know what type of contract Rolly got, man. Rolly might have a lifetime contract with Floyd, dog. And then let's put it this way. If Romero was to leave TMT or Mayweather Promotions, who would pick him up? Y'all help me understand that. Who would pick him up? Who would pick Rolly Romero up? Who would say, send the scout out there, make that phone call. We need to go pick that guy up. Rolly's a free agent, and change this man's life around in boxing. I really don't know. I'm puzzled. Shout out to Andrew Charles in the building. Salute to you, brother. I'm puzzled. You let a 3-0 fighter knock you out. That's embarrassing. That's truly embarrassing, man. And you know, once again, you have plenty of big names that have sparring footage out there. It's just all about, you know, how much money you have to have it taken down. It's other big names that have sparring footage out there. Like I always say, man, it's all about who you connected to. And you think somebody's gonna run and take this footage down? No. Like they said earlier in this chat, Fight Hype, the one who posted it. What the fuck? Why would you do that? Somebody in the chat, because I don't follow the dude. Is Jahan signed with TMT? Does anybody know if Jahan, the dude, the 3-0 professional, is he signed with Mayweather? I don't know. I've been seeing him over there a lot. I don't know if he signed with him. Let me move on, man. That's all the shine Roy gets now. I want to talk about Stephen Fulton, man. 21 victories in, 0 defeats with 8 knockouts. What I like about Fulton is he is one of the all-around pure boxers in the sport. He's extremely talented. Being that he fights in 122 is the reason why a lot of voices or a lot of conversations are not echoing his name. He's a very top elite boxer, period. I said this a ways back, man, that he's one of my favorite boxers at the end of the day. Like, he can box, he can fight on the inside, and he was on record with Brian Custer saying he's going to show the fight fans a whole different style when he goes over there to fight in a way. Now, let me lay the scene with Stephen Fulton, right? There's not too many black fighters or too many American fighters that contends at that weight class, period. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a lot of people. Not a lot of black boxers, right? Americans in general, it's not a lot. So he's one of the few that has proven in 2021, he had a phenomenal year. In January 2021, he was able to pick up the WBO title from Angelo Leo, and then turn around, I believe, in November of that same year, stepped in there with Brandon Figueroa for the unification of the WBC and the WBO and won that fight. He's a different type of guy, man. Like, when I seen him fight different styles, the way he fought Angelo Leo is not the way he fought Brandon Figueroa. You know what I'm saying? He's very talented. And I think being he's at super bantamweight, he gets overlooked because it's not a lot of exposure that's down there. But him taking this Naoya Inoue fight is huge, y'all. Let me tell you how big this shit is, right? Inoue has been holding down the residents of the pound for pound list for a long time. This is a guy who's a multi-division champion. Not only that, he finally became undisputed. He has multi-divisions to his resume, and he's undisputed at bantamweight. Now, of course, people gonna have his criticism of the last two opponents that he fought to unify the entire division, but that's just the way boxing is. WCS is not gonna, sit up here and change up the damn the scripture and rewrite that bitch. That's boxing. Boxing is like that. You're not gonna have champions every time that's holding down that position, that's gonna be top tier, highly rated, world ranked, Hall of Fame attendees already before they even out the sport. You know what I'm saying? Considered one of the greatest. It's not going to happen. So him fighting Nonito Donaire and Paul Butler for the last two straps, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He fought a guy he had already beat for a strap that went next door to fight Nordino Bali. Kudos. And then he fought Paul Butler, who nobody gave a damn about. But what's significantly important about Fulton's quest right now is that he said he made the fight. Shout out to Bud B. Easy Route Spence, right? I was just listening to his live the other night, and he was going through the audio, and he was just basically making some points about the interview, which was a great interview from Showtime. You know what I'm saying? Brian Custer was interviewing Fulton, and he made some damn good points on there about how he sought out how he seeked out the fight, how he could have screwed him over and say, "No, you coming over here to the States." Because I mentioned that on a live. I said, this dude's been fighting over across the motherfucking ocean, overseas for a long ass time. When is he gonna come over here and fight? And then now, Fulton talked. He said he talked to Al Heyman, and he made the fight. This man is going over in Japan and Inoue's backyard to defend his titles because he wants to challenge himself. He wants to go over there and prove to the people that really don't pay attention to these lighter divisions that he can persevere through this type of challenge and controversy. He can. I can't even, it's not even a salute for Fulton. I just have to verbally recognize this man and tell him that, that's an outstanding. I mean, when it comes to commendation, you know what I'm saying? Commending this dude, I commend him for stepping up and taking a challenge for a fighter that's top pound for pound. He's been sitting up there 2-3 for the longest of time. So let's think about this. Fulton goes over there and he beats Inoue. It absolutely changes everything about his portfolio as a professional fighter. It elevates him to a whole nother level. I believe a lot of people do respect Fulton, but they don't give him the lens time that he needs when it comes to, okay, what am I going to talk about today on for boxing topics? His name really don't come up across the panel, because he's not really a popular fighter to a lot of people. But if he's able to go in there and beat Inoue, he goes on the pound for pound, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He should be on the pound for pound, y'all. He should be on the pound for pound. No doubt about it. If you're going to keep Vasyl Lomachenko on there with no titles, you know what I'm saying? And this dude is up here trying to find out, well, I said I'll fight him anywhere, but I don't want to fight him this place, that place, and the other. If this dude goes over in Japan and beats Inoue, it's prolific. Undeniable. He should be on the pound for pound list. Now, we can't sit up here and act like there's no other individuals in those lighter weight classes been on the pound for pound. Yeah, you have Juan Francisco Estrada. He's been on there for a good little bit too. But for Fulton to be contending at super bantamweight and he's an American boxer, first of all, that's contending these lower weight classes. If he goes in there and beat this guy, this so-called monster that has all this power, and I hear the chit chatter that's going on. Is Fulton gonna be able to, go the distance with this dude, or get into the rounds without being knocked out? I don't see him. And then you look at people, how they're adding armor to Monster, right? They say, oh man, Monster moving up a division, he's gonna be even more stronger now. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be even more stronger. But you have to ask yourself this: who's on this resume is comparable to Stephen Fulton, bro? Who's on Inoue's resume that's comparable to Fulton? Who? Out of all those divisions he's been champion, who on there is comparable? I'm not talking about all this freaking what you had in your boxing career and you have this many fights. Don't throw Donaire's name in there. Don't do it, bro. Because you're talking about at one point in time, he went the distance with Donaire, and then the next time he stopped him. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the quality of boxer that we're about to witness. The style, how smooth Cool Boy is. And he can box, man. Cool Boy can box. One of the best in the sport, bro. Hands down, period. He may not get the recognition because, like I said, the division he's or not having a popular name with some big opponents. But he fought Brandon Figueroa. People was talking about it. But they'll turn around and say, oh, Brandon Figueroa ain't proved himself. Okay, so who is he supposed to fight then? Angelo Leo, he was a champion. He took his belt. Oh, who is Angelo Leo? But I'm just saying, that's the way boxing is always going to be. Fulton is one of the most complete boxers the sport has today. He is one of the complete boxers the sport has today. He's undefeated, bro. I'm not saying he is the most complete, like he is the only. I'm just saying he's one of the top complete boxers in the sport that we have today. Real talk. I'm talking about when you talk about skill for skill. I'm not talking about power ain't a skill, okay? I'm talking about pure boxing skills. You have to rank Fulton up there in the top 5. Pure boxers now. Pure boxers, bro. He got to be ranked up there top 5. So let's get back to how he made this all work. And hit the like button if you're in the building. This man say he went to Al Heyman. Let me get to the chat right quick. Hold on for a second. I don't want the chat to get behind too much. Let me see. Feliciano said TMC did Rolly dirty releasing that video. There should not be any phones or video doing sparring. I kind of disagree. It depends on who's sparring, though. Like I said before, Feliciano, I understand what your grievance is. But when it come down to sparring, nobody was really in there giving a damn about who was in the ring. Now, if you get 2 heavy hitters, 2 top tier fighters, of course, yeah, they should make sure they motherfucking sanitize just like they did for the Tank and Norman Jr. I mean, that shit almost became a crime scene. It was so bad. People was like, no phone, no camera, no nothing. Yeah. At the end of the day, you can't do shit to know somebody that's recording a sparring session. You can't go out there and take their merchandise. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. But it wasn't that many people in there, first of all. I'm just saying. Rolly fighting 135 is good if he can get an A known boxer win, but who? I'm thinking Rolly is more so situated in trying to get a fight at 140. Rolly has competition at 135, but you have to understand he's not a small dude. Rolly put the weight on too. It's unbelievable that he's still able to cut that weight. the way he does. During the pandemic, Rolly ballooned up like it was cool, and by the time it was he was scheduled to step back in the ring, he was solid. I will give him that. Why do you think they were so quick to release that sparring footage? Does that go against the code of not talking about sparring, or did they not care because it's Rolly? Check this out, Andrew. Is it sparring out there of some of your biggest fighters, some of the big names in the sport? Yes, it's sparring out there. As far as it being a code, boxing has no code, man. They just have a language that mentions the word code. Boxing don't have no code. There's no fucking code in boxing. It's just all about what gym you're visiting. When they speak of a code in boxing, people will show you 100 other motherfucking situations that violated that code. Sparring is one of those situations they say, oh, it's a code. You don't supposed to review sparring and all that. So how did the Ivan Redcast situation get took out? How did that heavyweight, who is that white heavyweight? The white heavyweight was knocked the fuck out, bro. I forgot what his name. I mean, he was asleep on the bottom rope. It's been plenty of sparring sessions that you see this particular fighter getting off, and nobody gives a damn about his opponent that's being knocked around and knocked the fuck out. Nobody cares. So I don't believe about this code shit, because boxing is just too open-ended for it to be a code. I've seen so many sparring sessions that people they're recording it like it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who it is. They're gonna have to figure this shit out. And like, it does seem fugazi and a lack of etiquette that they will put a fighter like Romero, who's trying to build his name back up. Like, dude is trying to build his name back up, to step in there with a mid-tier fighter to continue his career. But when you put sparring out with a fighter who's 3-0, and you're in the same damn near the same position on the canvas, it was just different this time, because you know Tank land the left, slip underneath your left. You know, I mean, listen, he was still on his ass, and he was sitting there. You know it's him because he had the same type of body language. His body was twitching and shit. Listen to me. That's not a good sign, y'all. The way his body moves like that when he gets dropped, that's not a good sign. I'm serious. It's not a good sign, bro. At least it's registering, though. The headquarters up top, it's registering. Get up, get up, get up. It's twitching. It's trying to tell you, hey, yeah. Go ahead. You know, but not a good sign. You may have already covered that. I'm just jumping in. It's all good, bro. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm giving a thesis. You know, I'm speaking to a room full of 50 students. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a professor with a 50-year tenure. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Gooch. To you on deck. Salute to you, brother. One love to my guy WCS. Hit the like button. I appreciate you, brother. In the building. Anyway, is a pound for pound king to a lot of people. It's amazing how Anyway can be a pound for pound king, like you said. But, you know, when it comes to identifying on one hand 5 opponents that you remember doing his multi-division quest, you know, who is it? They were always, oh, no, Nito, no, Nito. They fought twice, no, Nito. Who besides that? You know what I'm saying? Who else that you can put on your hand and say, yep, this is a fighter right here. That one, I remember this fight right here. Come on, man. They have this Japanese fighter who's fought most of his fights overseas, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I would have wished for Cool Boy Steph to fight him in the States, over here in the U.S. But he said he wanted to prove, he wanted to challenge himself. That's why he got with Al Heyman. He was pretty much throwing shots fired out there to say, you can make a fight. All you got to do is go there and say, hey, I want this fight, and the fight can be made. Hint, hint. So he's pretty much putting it out there. If you want a fight to happen, you can make it happen. So he went through all the concessions, man. He is pretty much saying, I'm going into this man's backyard to levitate my career to another level. My plans are to go ahead and beat this guy who you all have on your pound for pound list, and I'm taking my titles over there. So he's allowing a guy like Inoue to not only move up to the division for the first time, but he's going over there defending his titles to a guy in his own backyard in Japan. Are y'all processing the consignment that he gave this dude? This is some shit that some people will call legendary to a point. You're taking your titles over to a pound for pound fighter's backyard who's a multi-division champion. That means he has accomplished more than you have in your career. And you going over there in that man's backyard to say, I'm going to defend my titles. And it's his first fight up from 118, from being undisputed. That's some cojones right there. That's what you call courage, goddammit. That's what you call motherfucking courage. That's why you just can't damn give the hand salute. You got to tell a cool boy to your face, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. Love it, bro. Heart. Who doing that? Not to get off topic, boy. Not to get off topic, but let's look at what happened with Cool Boy Steph. He was called out by Inoue, just like Crawford called out Jamel Charlo. It's a lot of back and forth that I could go with this shit now. Cool Boy Steph said he was the best fighter in Philly, y'all. You know who else over there in Philly? I said, oh shit. He said, I'm the best fighter in this motherfucker. He didn't say Boots. He didn't say none of it. He said, I'm the best fighter in Philly. He said, I'm the best fighter. Not only that, he allowed somebody, he allowed himself to accept a challenge from Inoue. Inoue is moving up from a lower division. He's accepting the challenge, man. He's accepting the challenge of this guy who's vacating his belts, pound for pound champion, moving up to the division for the first time and fighting that man in his backyard. You think any of these fighters in the welterweight will accept that challenge? Man, come on, get the fuck out of here. They busy up there whining and bitching and complaining about shit and talking about sit down, humble yourself and challenge. In the meanwhile, Cool Boy Steph over here allowing somebody as champion, as unified champion, to get a shot at his titles in his fucking backyard, knowing this guy was just formerly undisputed at bantamweight. Man, that's crazy. Shout out to Cool Boy Steph. That's what we call in the core honorable, goddammit. That's honorable right there. That type of damn courage and commitment gets you medals. They give you medals for that shit. He go over there and beat this dude, you get medals, goddammit. Juice Lee on deck, salute to you, brother. Little guys don't get paid, so Fulton had to take the trip to Japan to make money. Look, Feliciano, I think it's more than that, brother. I really, truly do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not brushing over your statement. What I'm saying is it's much more than that. When I heard him say that he wants to prove, you know what I'm saying? He likes a challenge. He needs something to put some fear in him. He feels it's going over here. It's a huge hill to climb, bro. The slope is incredibly steep. If anybody has ever taken a trip over Japan, man, that shit is a long ass motherfucking trip, dog. It's over a 12-hour trip. It is long. Then you have to get over there early enough for your body to acclimate and get off that jet lag. You know what I'm saying? It's tremendous jet lag, right? Tremendous. You just have to get acclimated to a lot of shit, get your body used to the time zone and everything else, and then settle in and get to work. It's a long ass flight, bro. I took that flight twice when my son wasn't even 1 year old. That shit was crucial, man. Earaches. He said, "I'll never forget you picking Sorong Fasai over Bam Rodriguez." I thought with the experience level, Sorong Fasai should have got it done. Who wouldn't have picked Sorong Fasai over Rodriguez, a former champion and all that? It was his opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So me thinking Rung Fasai should have beat Bam. Bam did what he's supposed to do. How many people do you see was able to do what Bam was able to do in that situation? Move up weight classes, step in for Rung Fasai, who got COVID, beat Carlos Kudras, then turn back around and beat the guy who was supposed to got the shot to begin with. Come on, IB. Come on, man. Come on, brother. Rung Fasai was supposed to win that fight. He didn't. You know what I'm saying? Not only did he not win the fight, you know, the put him, look, it was all fucked up for Rung Fasai anyway. Because when you look at it, he was supposed to be the next in line for Estrada. But they elevated him to franchise champion, which left Rung Fasai fighting for a potential vacant WBC belt, right? He gets COVID and then all that other shit takes place. He go in there and gets stopped by Bam Rodriguez. Crazy, bro. Insane turn of events. Absolutely insane, people. How that shit worked out for Rung Fasai. No doubt. But thanks for reminding me of that, IB. Usyk, Tony Harrison, Richard Hitchens, and Stephen Fulton are in my top 5 pure boxers. Okay. All right. Hitchens, he definitely considered a pure boxer. No doubt about it. I think he's a boring fighter, but I didn't think he was boring when he fought John Bowser. Real talk. Rolly should get Gary Antoine Russell, beat him up for a nice little check. Man, stop the cap. He ain't, what? Rolly should let Gary Antoine Russell. Oh, okay, I got you. Rolly should let Gary Antoine beat him. Yeah. My bad. I didn't read it all. Reading is fundamental, they said. But yeah, Gary Antoine will beat Rolly ass, man. Antoine will stop Rolly. He'll stop him. Secure the boxing mind. Hey, when somebody put their part, that's not mine. So if that's who he have in his top 5, I'm not going to add fighters to inject it into his top 5. That's his top 5. I see where you coming, Blunts, but that's his top 5. So I'm going to leave it be. You know? What's going on, Thor? How you feeling, bro? Rolly is a bomb, C-class at best. Why him getting fucked up and sparring a shock? It wasn't a shock to me. It just comes down like this, Jimmy. It's just like when you deal with boxing topics all the time, even the boxing topics themselves become bum topics. You know what I'm saying? It comes storylines and shit. So you just basically rehashing old news after old news after old news, trying to put a new spin to it. So talking about something like this, it's kind of a little bit of light work, so to speak. Talking about somebody like Rolly getting knocked out. I didn't talk about it as if it was a shocker. I'm speaking on it in a place where Rolly shouldn't have put himself. He should never placed himself in a position to be on a highlight reel for a 3-0 fighter, bro. You should have never. Where are your people? You should never be in this situation. I just thought it was more so stupid, ill-advised for him to be up here trying to do that doghouse, beat motherfuckers up in sparring. No, they up to what you want on, Rolly. They get educated off your fight style. If your fighting style, you're incapable of building and adding new wrinkles to it, and you're refusing to learn, and you just think boxing is where you go in there and brawl and all that, it's gonna be people that start to learn your shit, and they're gonna start fucking you up. You should be working on the fundamentals, not that iRobot shit. Be motherfucking taking pauses in between motherfucking punches. Dude, stop that shit, bro. Come on, man. Stop that shit. Rolly probably has a glass shin. He's a C-class guy who never fought anyone. He's a non-factor in boxing. It's not a debate of mine. I ain't gonna lie. That's not a debate of mine. I don't put him up there against nobody. He was just entertaining to hear him with an O on his record, right? To hear him talk all that cash shit that he was gonna stop Gervonta in the first round. It was hilarious. Come on, Jimmy. You gotta understand one thing, bro. You have to have some comedic value dealing with this social media shit sometime. I'm not saying going up here being a compulsive, habitual liar. I'm talking about like speaking on topics that aren't so serious. Like speaking on something that's gonna make people laugh. We got to do it every now and then. Real talk. Real talk. It has to happen. Anyway, now matches Bud's accomplishments, and he fought more champions than Bud. He did that younger and in less bouts. He's about to go 4 divisions against the top dog in Fulton. I mean, if that's who you want to compare him to, as far as, he did more than Bud. I mean, you have to look at, why didn't you compare him to anybody else? Why Bud Crawford? Bud never started off at lower weight classes like that. You know what I'm saying? He never competed at lower weight classes like that. This dude is just moving up to 122. But him, being a future Hall of Famer is no question. In a way, it's going to be a future Hall of Famer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I may not be living when he goes into the Hall of Fame, but he's going into the Hall of Fame, just like Bud Crawford is going to be in the Hall of Fame too. But at the end of the day, let's think about this. When people intend to attend the lower weight classes, an Asian fighter or a Mexican fighter, they can get mad credit for fighting in those lower divisions, and then they can accomplish what Inoue has done, but people still look at it like, okay, this and this. They start putting all these variables together. It's just not as easy to compare him, in my opinion. Once again, compare him and his accomplishments for Undisputed to that of Crawford's. I'm just saying, because there's no way that we're going to say Ndongo was the same caliber fighter as Paul Butler. There's just no way that you can easily put that out there, Jimmy. It's like saying, yeah, when it comes to that, he did it in lesser time. Look at this, right? Look at him becoming Undisputed. You can say he fought more champions all day long. Cool. But who's looking for Paul Butler? And Ndongo wasn't Paul Butler. You know what I'm saying? He goes there and fight Nadine O'Bali, right? Who fought for the vacant title, fought Rasheed Warren for the vacant title, right? He goes there and beat Nadine O'Bali. Who was talking about O'Bali? You're talking about him losing to Inoue, Donaire losing, and them offering him another one, just like they did Sergey Derevyanchenko at 60. They offer him the neighboring position to go up there in the ranking system and fight for a title again. He beats him, come back over there and get knocked out. Now he goes over to Paul Butler. Kudos, salute to that. Let's run the flags high in the sky. I mean, you just can't say, oh, he did in less time, like Inoue is being compared to Bud Crawford. Come on, man. It's two sets of weight classes we're talking about. It's just different. It's just different. I wish he was a weight class higher. I wish he was closer. I wish he was up there at 140, 147 with those 3 divisions. And moved up to challenge Crawford at this point in time. It'll be good to see how that turns out. You know what I'm saying? It'll be good. Real talk. And you said he about to go 4 divisions against a top dog in Fulton. I'm looking at that being a fight that would be considered 50-50. You know, I'm never going to go up here and say, okay, just because he's coming off undisputed, he's going to go in there and wash Fulton. I have to see it for myself. I think skill-wise, Fulton is a better boxer. But, of course, Monster has power, and he can box too. But, you know, come on, we already seen what a good defensively minded boxer can do to someone who loves inflicting power shots. You know what I'm saying? And thriving off that power. It's not impossible to go the distance with Inoue. It's not impossible. L-Dog said Fulton isn't Heyman's cash cow, so it's easier to make those fights. So what do you mean by hold up? What do you mean by that? Just think about what you said. Because like I tell people all the time, like you gather this information. If you go to a toilet, you know what I'm saying? You don't go to a toilet looking for alkaline water. You know what I'm saying? You don't go in there and you it's time for you to eat cereal. You say, you know, I want a different taste, a little twang to it. You know what I'm saying? Heyman's cash cow. He doesn't have to be his cash cow for anything. He's a unified champion. It shouldn't even matter. If boxing is a business, why should it all come down to Spence being Heyman's cash cow? That's why the fight can be made. If they really want to make the fight, they can make the fight. How low does Crawford has to go? How low does he have to go? Once again, the incredible. How low does Crawford has to go on the freaking percentage for the fight to be made? He was already at 35, right? Come on, L-Dog. He was already at 35%. What does cash cow have to do with it? So you're proving a valid point that they ducked the fight because they didn't want the fight because that's his cash cow. He wants to preserve his cash cow. I got it, bro. Thanks for making that point. Fulton going to Japan for $3.5 million. That's 10 times more money as Fulton's seen. Fighters travel to the U.S. all the time for title fights, but don't get all this hype. True words. Yeah, for sure. Anthony Joshua traveled here for a title fight. AJ did it. Plenty of other fighters, like you said. They go to the U.S. for title fights, no doubt. But I can't talk for foreign neighboring fighters or whatever, you know, coming over to the U.S. I'm trying to talk about the U.S. fighters. I'm trying to talk about how special this is for Fulton to go over there to his backyard and he the A-side value. He's calling the shots. So he has everything in his corner. But like he said, he didn't force that man to come over to the U.S. He wanted to go in his backyard, Japan. It's a lot of concessions that he could have made that in a way would have had to accommodate. But he's pretty much obliging in a way. For somebody who's moving up for a first fight at 122 and he's going over Japan, man, that's crazy. That's incredible. I commend him for that. I commend him for that. Just the effort for which you're taking to level change, to step it up, so to speak, in your career. I commend Fulton for that, because it doesn't happen often. And we done seen the travesty play out with Spence Crawford. Anyway, it's taking a challenge by going to his 4th division. That'll be like Fulton jumping to 130 and facing Shakur. You mean 126? You mean 126? It's no division between 118 and 122. Fulton is contending at 122. That'd be like Fulton jumping to 130 and facing Shakur, but let's only give Fulton credit because guys don't go to the USA for title shots. Well, he had to stop for 126 first. So he definitely wouldn't be, going up there challenging Shakur Stevenson if he was at 130. Anyway, it's not jumping up 2 divisions like Bam Rodriguez did. You know what I'm saying? He's coming up 1 division, bro. That's a fact though, bro. Shakur is definitely top 5 pure boxer in boxing. I just cannot think of the 5th boxer on the list. My list is not any particular order. Salute to you. Yeah, Blunt's made a solid point. Shakur Stevenson is that guy. Him, Devin Haney, all these young fighters, even Teofimo Lopez. You have a lot of solid pure boxers in the sport. You know what I'm saying? That can box their ass off. Even Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez, man. Dude can box. Dude has a pretty style. I ain't gonna lie. Bam Rodriguez can box. Crawford was the first since Jermaine Taylor to become undisputed, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Crawford was in a group of individuals that was very small, right? And when he did it, then came everybody else. Real talk. He was in a small group of names now. B-Hop, Jermaine Taylor. You know what I'm saying? He was in a small group of names until we got the rest of the individuals, the new school, so to speak. You're right. You're right. Talk that boxing shit, man. You're right. Anyway, gonna start getting whooped if he go past 26. Hey, man, let's be positive. You know what I'm saying? Because, let's be positive and, give all this hype to the foreign fighters. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying, the man is doing something that's grand. It's grandiloquent in my opinion. He's doing something I appreciate. This is not a mundane type of decision that we see all the time. Fighters aren't just making it an everyday occurrence or every fight occurrence that they willing to travel into the backyard of a fighter. We see it every now and then. People don't give Crawford for going in Ricky Burns' backyard. They don't give him credit. They don't give him credit for Ricky Burns, period. But they don't know how many years Ricky Burns had lost before Crawford stepped in there and beat him. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be skullduggery when it comes to giving fighters their credit. Always, bro. Always. Remember that shit. It's always going to be some chicanery. Oh my God, dog. This shit is going to be crazy, bro. Anyway, gonna start getting whooped if he go past 26. Read that. Shout out to that guy Eclipse 330. What's going on with your Square? How you feeling on deck? W said salute Square. Yeah, I saw that Rolly footage. Couldn't help but laugh. He really doesn't see left hands. Hey, it might be, he forgot. Something may be going on with that right eye. I can't make no excuses for Rolly. To be honest, I hope he's healthy. But the guy that did that to him was 3-0. He's not that good of a fighter. He's a pretty boy, man. He might feel some type of way. If he even remember, he'll probably act like he don't remember who I am. It's okay. It's okay, but man, come on, bro. Dude was 3-0, man. He's going to ride that motherfucker. Man, I'm the one drop Rolly. I'm the one drop Rolly. People going to be hitting him up. Hey, man, is there any way you can get an interview? Any way we can get your interview? Well, so now all of a sudden, Rolly is going to get that exposure that he didn't want. Like Rolly, he always wanted the type of exposure that he got from being stopped by Tank, right? He always wanted to be pretty much just levitating in the clouds where boxing fans see him. They say, Rolly, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Like he wanted the crowd, he wanted to be able to walk into a room and move it. Like Dimitri Bivol. Bivol defeated Canelo the way he did. Like, you ever seen Bivol in a room lately? Man, they be swarming that dude. Everybody be trying to get a picture with Bivol. Taguchi Rodriguez, Navarez, McDonald, Donaire were all top champions. Butler was a 2-time world champion, Olympian, and number 3 guy, number 18, not a monster, but a solid guy. Now Fulton, before division, and now Fulton. See, let's talk about those guys you mentioned. I'm talking about boxing has always been known to allow people to pick up belts. Real talk. I said Butler. Nobody was looking for Butler. It's plenty of Americans that's over here that are champions that nobody looked for either. They'll just try to make it go away. They would try to omit that it ever happened. Nobody wasn't looking for Butler. How did Butler even get the title, the WBO title? How did he get it? Explain that. If we're going to dog out Devin Haney and other people who pick up the title, Yadinas Ugas, pick up this title by receipt, then, I mean, how did Butler get the title? Did he go in there and defeat Casemiro? How did he get the title? Was it his time? I'm just saying, was it his time? I'm not saying he didn't defeat a champion, but when it comes down to notoriety, yeah, he did what he's supposed to do. The same way when they go back into these multi-division champion, their resume, they always say, oh, well, who was he? Who was that guy? Oh, who was that guy? We can go up to Oleksandr Usyk. If people ain't paying attention to the damn cruiserweight division, who was that guy right there? Who was that guy? So he did that on WBSS. What's that? I mean, it's always going to be subjected to criticism. It's always going to be subjected to criticism. When these guys unify divisions, they're always going to be subjected to criticism. It's not going to stop. Heyman don't mind risking Fulton, but he does mind with Tank. Yeah, you might be right on that. You know what I'm saying? If it's considered a risk, though. Like, we all know where you're going. Like, you're saying that Fulton, you're saying that Fulton, in this case, how they saying that the manager's supposed to work for the fighter, right? But in this case, in your narrative, you're saying that, well, all the choices and decisions are made by Al Heyman, which says that pretty much put it out there that Stephen Fulton is working for Al and not the other way around. That's not the way it's supposed to be. It don't supposed to come down to Heyman don't mind risking Fulton. When you saying him risking, that's pretty much saying it's up to him on whether he allows certain fights to happen. That is not the tutorial that I'm used to hearing. You know what I'm saying? That is not the tutorial. The boxing tutorial changes all the time for certain people. So when you put it out there that, hey man, the managers, the promoters supposed to be working for the fighters. Fighters don't supposed to be working for them. Well, if you put it in that type of language, it's almost like the fighter is working for Al Heyman. And Al Heyman don't want the fight ain't gonna happen. We all know what it is in boxing. We already know, man. We already know what it is, bro. Salute to Astor on deck, man. In the building. This is good for Fulton. Doesn't move the needle. A MM for U.S. boxing. Fulton the only one close to pure boxer. Rest are posers. I don't agree with the rest being posers, but I give Fulton 1,000% credit. Dude is pretty to watch when he boxes. Seriously. He's entertaining. He ain't afraid to mix it up. Stephen Fulton is pretty to watch when it comes to the entire cachet that he possesses as a boxer. Real talk. He is one of the most versatile boxers we have today when it comes to boxing, pure boxing. He is one of them. I agree with you that. I agree with you on that. But they don't give Ricky Burns. You didn't put how many years was it before Ricky Burns even took that loss? How long has it been before Ricky took that loss for Crawford? And factoring in that he attempted to try to give Crawford step aside money, he wouldn't take that fight. But how many years was it since Ricky Burns had lost before Crawford beat him? Ricky Burns was a solid dude. Ricky Burns is a future Hall of Famer, period. He's a future Hall of Famer. People don't want to give him credit. Whenever you hear them bring up Crawford's resume, you barely hear them speak about Ricky Burns. Barely. It's almost like no respect, bro. No respect for what this guy did, man. And Crawford went in his backyard and took that title. What do you think about the news of Bivol versus Buatsi in May? You know, to be honest with you, anything with Bivol attached to it right now, I'm interested. I don't care if it's not Beterbiev or Beterbiev or whatever people want to call him. Anything attached to Bivol, that's another guy who has a unique boxing style. He can box his ass off. I'm cool. I'm cool with watching it. I'm a fan of Bivol, man. Like, dang, he beat my guy Zerto, man. He made Zerto look like he had ankle weights on, cinder block ankle weights on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He gave him the motherfucking business. And Zerto's my guy, man. Like, cool dude, man. Box his ass off. I mean, people didn't give him credit. Like, I heard people talk about that Gilberto wasn't ready. Like, come on, bro. He had over 40 professional wins. Why wasn't he ready? He just got his ass beat. It happens in boxing. Bivol was the much better fighter, man. Much better fighter, for real. And shout out to WCS Coach Malachi Blood. Salute. Big shout out to them, man. Definitely, y'all check out their channels, man. Very solid, productive boxing content on the channels. True Media Today and retro boxing documentaries. Y'all check them cats out, man. Not at all, bro. Not at all. Not at all. Don't include me into what the aerosexuals are doing to Bud, because I don't sit up here and place any of that in comparison to. You can't put me into that. Both guys are top pound for pound level Hall of Famers. Canelo Usyk. How am I doing anything? We don't even speak. Now you're talking about aerosexuals speaking on a regular occurrence over and over again, making it an omnipresence every time somebody want to visit YTC, right? It's not even, it's light years gap in between the analogy that you attempted to make just then. It makes no sense. It makes no sense what you just said. I can't understand what you're saying. I'm not even dogging out Inoue. I like Inoue as a fighter. I'm just saying a lot of people are not really paying attention to who he beat leading up to the bantamweight division. I never once discredited the man and say he wasn't shit. I just said it would be good for him to come over to the US and fight some top competition. Now he gets the catering. He wants to fight Cool Boy Steph, who is willing and able to go over there for 3.5, as you say, to go over his backyard. It's nowhere close to what's going on between Bud and Spence. It's not even close. I will say this. That comment is very, very dilapidated. Seriously. Extremely poor analogy, bro. I'm just going to be honest with you. And we cool. I'm not saying this out of no disrespect. But when you try to group something into a situation that's a daily occurrence and you put me in there, that's where my defense has to come in. My defense mechanism has to come back and say, that's nonsense. That's foolish for you to even think that. There's no way that I sit up here and denigrate it in a way to a point where it compares to the smear campaign that's being going on against Bud. Man, come on, bro. I need an apology. That's BS and you know it, bro. Was 3 years just because I'm not sitting up here jumping up and down, clapping my hands because in a way is this undisputed. I gave him his props. He did what he had to do. I'm just saying, why is the accommodation level? It has to be raised 3-4 notches because we're talking about a foreign fighter. Why don't we do our own fighters? We don't even do our own fighters like that. We busy up here super critiquing our own fighters negative in the U.S. But yet it's people up here parading around and protesting. So-and-so and Naoya anyway, look what he's done in his career. Man, come on, bro. Man, bro, come on now. Bivol can't thump, point blank, period. He can thump, yeah, absolutely. I agree, man. I'm intrigued with Bivol's how in tune he is, you know what I'm saying, as a combat specialist, as a martial artist. He's different. Like he's very, very in tune with what God blessed him with. He's a very methodical type striker. I was just curious. Appreciate you, OG. Ain't mean to get off topic. It's all good. We just tripping. As the Bud versus it's a fight to make. Bud versus Triple G. Good. I mean, I like Bud versus Triple G really. Not if Regis has shown in the past that he's not really comfortable at moving up to a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? He's not really comfortable with that. He had the opportunity to do it with Maurice Hooker, but he was up here, you know, he wasn't on board with it. Now, no way, shape, or form, I look at Regis as being a guy who's scared to do anything. I got mad respect for Regis. But as far as him moving up to 47, he knows his height and he knows his size. It'll be tough for him to move up to 147. I mean, we ain't talking about 5-pound differences anymore. We're talking about you moving up to 40 to 47. That's a whole lot. I meant discrediting Inoue's accomplishments, how they always do the Bud. I don't find that is even remotely close, brother. Not even close. I'm just saying from smaller divisions to larger divisions, for heavier divisions rather, not larger, heavier divisions. If you feel that there's some residue or some similarities in saying that certain people don't know who he fought at the lower weight class, in my opinion, speaking for me, I find it to be true. There's a lot of clarity that they're not really boxing in general. The hardcore fanatics are not paying attention. It's easy to look up the information. It's easy. But when you have fighters who are at heavier divisions and are much more pop fighters, like, yeah, Inoue is on the pound for pound list. Yeah, he does, his name does have some buzz. But is he a global star over here in the US footprint? Is he a global star over here in the U.S. footprint? Is he this huge global name? They used to say the same thing about Joshua. They said Joshua was this global dude. All they was trying to do is just boost him up and boost him up. But is Inoue over here in the U.S.? Can he walk the streets? Can he put on a cap and shades and people are like, oh, that's Inoue? No, hell no, he can't. I'm just saying a lot of people pay attention to the heavier weight classes. The fighters can both be on the pound for pound list, but if you put them in the same room, come on, U.S. familiarity, they go there and say, okay, that's Terrence Crawford right there. Inoue may be only a mere few feet away from Crawford, and they don't know who he is. I'm not, it's no freaking comparison to what's going on over here with the smear campaign and them just defaming this man's career, his name, and all that. We're talking about maliciousness now. We're not talking about who knows his opponents. We're talking about malicious ill will that's being spoken on. It's not even close, brother. Not even close. Bud KO's reaches at 140, 147. If Bud was to move down here to 140, it will have to be some big money involved. For him to come down, drop all that weight to accommodate Regis, it has to be some big money. No, at one time, the reflection was that he may potentially fight a Josh Taylor. I'm not going off topic and do that. I just really want to highlight Stephen Fulton and what he's about to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like, look, hey, you look at you look at Cool Boy Steph. Who's going to give Angelo Leo the full credit? It was a lot of people. I've seen Brandon Figueroa go in there and get beat up. The fight that they gave him a draw, I forgot the name. That should have been an L. I thought he got beat up that fight. I thought he lost. But they gave it to him. He was the A side. They gave it to him. But he ended up going in there and clearly losing against Cool Boy Steph. And we actually thought we was going to get a rematch, but somehow that didn't pan out. And I'm pretty sure it's real good for Fulton because he's about to get paid way more money to go over there and fight anyway. Now Regis go up or nothing. I don't think Regis going up to 47 anytime soon, y'all. Anyway, an undefeated 7-time world champion, 3 divisions, undisputed, the WBSS winner, and facing his 10th world champion fight of the year, in his 4th division, for looking at 122, unified in 25 fights. He did his thing, bro. I have no problem, posting that information up there. He did his thing. But still, you take anybody that's in a conversation and we just having random topic discussions and transitions. People are not going to sit up here and post the information that you just posted. It's very, very easy to be on the keyboard looking up information. It's no knock on you. I'm just saying in general, it's easy to retrieve a fighter's credentials and put them up there and have people praise them. But when you talk about general conversation about fighters that has done, that has this portfolio and people want to talk about it, they're not going to dig into his resume like that. They're not going to look at him. Look, it's people that's been on record as talking about the pound for pound list. They know he's on the pound for pound list, and they'll be like, yeah, Monster, he on the pound for pound list. Yeah, But they really want to get to the Canelos, the Terrence Crawfords, the Spencers, the Alexander Usyks. You know what I'm saying? They really want to talk about the other guys that they have did a lot more research on. I'm talking about somewhat the casuals to the fanatics. You know what I'm saying? The fanatics to the hardcores, they're going to be able to go a little bit more in depth, like, what you put up there. Hey, That's what it is, man. That's the gift of search engines. You know what I'm saying? But it's good info. Real talk. I'm not knocking that. It's solid info. But still, Cool Boy Steph is making all the concessions. I would have liked it if he had him come over here, but if he go overseas to make the kind of money that he's trying to make, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He sounded very, very confident and challenging himself going overseas. I salute that man. You know what I'm saying? For having that warrior spirit. I salute Cool Boy for having the warrior spirit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when Inoue, get after this fight, he can come over here to the U.S. a little bit often, and get it popping. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can get it popping. Winner in a way, Fulton needs to see my boy Aleem. He said Aleem was ducking him. How can you be on the same card? How can you be on the same card as Cool Boy Steph and talk that you want to fight this person and that person, but yet the fight can't be made? Like it's not like the super bantamweight division is this starstruck division that, oh my God, it's so political. Why didn't he get it done? Why he didn't push for the fight, man? Why? As strong as he looked in his last fight, why isn't he trying to? He's the other unified. Samad, what's good? I'm new in the channel. Appreciate you pulling up there, Samad. In the building. Appreciate you pulling up. One love to you, brother. Be sure to sub to the channel if you feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Donaire's a Hall of Famer. Fulton is elite young undefeated champion. Those would be two very good legacy wins. Yeah, for sure. But if they're going to be two good legacy wins, then we need to inject more notoriety into Fulton's accomplishments somehow, some way. Because truth be told, I'll be honest, and I'll be honest with myself first, that he's beat a Leo, which they don't, a Leo, Angelo Leo, and a Brandon Figueroa. The boxing world is not placing them in the pantheon of boxing at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? So it's some building that still has to happen. It's some building. And I'm pretty sure Fulton, when he finally moves up to 126, he's gonna stamp his name there too. Dude can fight. Cool Boy can fight. No one is saying Donaire isn't a Hall of Famer. No doubt about it. But I'm just saying, en route to undisputed, he stepped in there with the fighter that he had already beat, an older fighter. It don't matter if Donaire went the distance. He stepped in there with an older fighter. An older fighter who was able to go over there and get the WBC title and bring it back to Donaire to get knocked out. That's all I'm saying, man. It's always going to be the pros and cons of any type of boxing critique. That's just the way it is. Aleem is mandatory, and Aleem asked for him. Man, that's not what he said. You need to go listen to the podcast. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's not the words Cool Boy Steph used when he was talking to Brian Custer on the Showtime. That's not what he used. He said quite the opposite of Aleem wanting to fight him. We know Aleem has called him out. He did that on the post-fight post-fight interview. Inoue fought Maloney in USA and Rodriguez in the UK, but those lower weight aren't known for having big money. We're talking about I'm because this is about Cool Boy Steph. Inoue is getting a blessing from Cool Boy Steph. We should sit up here and salute Cool Boy Steph for stepping up and placing himself in a position to go in somebody else's backyard. We should commend him. That's real talk.
He should be getting all the praise right now, all the adulations and plaudits for him as a fighter, a unified champion, with knowing that Inoue is coming off and he has that momentum from undisputed, and he's stepping up for the first time at Super Bantam to go over in that man's domain, his country, his people, and defend his titles. You know what I'm saying? That's huge, man. That's huge. That's huge. That's big. He could have pretty much did like, Jamel Charlo and everybody else wanted to whine and make up shit about stay in your lane, know your place, be the challenger, take less money, humble yourself, sit down. That's what I'm talking about. Cool Boy, he ain't talking none of that bullshit. He ain't talking none of that. That's man shit he talking. I want to establish myself. If this dude's coming off from being undisputed at bantamweight, guess what? I want to beat him. Not only do I want to beat him, I want to beat him over there in Japan. So when I beat him in Japan, it's not like I'm coming back with any more belts, but my portfolio, my credentials are that much heavier because I went in there and defeated a pound for pound boxer that y'all glorify so much. That's a 3-way champion, and then sit up here and beat all these champions in this amount of time. That's a big deal. That's huge, bro. I want to see the Philly fighter go over there and get it in, bro, and get that win for real. I want to see Cool Boy Steph get that win. Whatever he do after that, I hope he's able to potentially fight for undisputed. If come back down to Super Bantamweight and fight for undisputed. If MJ's down for that shit. Regis versus Cepeda. Regis, where am I? But I agree, Donaire is a Hall of Fame. No ifs, ands. Never said anything apart from that. Nonito Donaire is a Hall of Fame fighter. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm just speaking about the now. Well, you better keep begging there. Hey, you better keep begging. How are we going to show any emphasis in our lean and we can't even get the welterweight fight? We can't even get the welterweight fight over here. I could care 2 paper clips about attaching Aleem's name to Cool Boy Steph right now. I am still a little bit bewildered that we cannot get this welterweight fight done. And you believe I'm going to dedicate brain waves in an attempt to figure out why we can't get Aleem to fight Cool Boy? No. No, hell no. And what you said, I get it, bro. I get it. I'm discussing that Inoue and Fulton aren't getting more love. Fans more interested in what Spence and Tank are doing, but 2 real warriors who mix it up and get no hype. Hey, you're right about that. You're right. Real talk. You're right about that. At the end of the day, they're not getting as much attention rendered towards their fight. For what reason, like I said, attention to the lower weight classes. It all depends on it. Man, it's a condition that is this a condition for so long that's playing out right here. When it comes to the lower weight class, people don't really look down there for American fighters like that. They won't go down into the bantamweight divisions and look for American fighters because they know if that's their acquired taste in the divisions that they really pay attention to, you can't blame nobody for that. That's just boxing. They know it's a lot of foreign fighters that's in the lower weight divisions, the lighter weight divisions, bro. They know that. But, as far as the boxing topics and conversations, a lot of that deals with 140 up to heavyweight. Real talk. And then in this era, 135. But I'm just saying, 140 up to heavyweight. 135 is bumping, but 140 up to heavyweight, skipping cruiserweight. Hey, just so we can show some love, Badu Jack is facing Makabu for the WBC cruiserweight world champion. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that fight is out there now. But I hear you. I hear you, bro. But hey, appreciate everyone for pulling up, man. I don't know why you two accounts, man. Go Thor. You know, you said I'm not sure why you in two accounts, bro. You the same person. What's going on here? What are we doing? I will be back on a little bit later, but be sure to hit the like button on your way out, people. I got 28 likes on deck. I don't browbeat people to hit the like button. It is what it is. If you choose to support me, you know what I'm saying? Anytime, you always can shoot the Cash App. Donations are welcome. And of course the super chats. Thanks for Jamal Neasy, dropping that $5 super chat today. And y'all continue to hold it down for WCS, man. Appreciate you. Turn up and tune in. And I should be on here later. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.